So first of all, welcome. Thank you all for being here. Lynn, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh my goodness, what a treat. It's so good to see everyone, and it's also such a delight when someone I haven't seen in so long gets to pop in with us. So yay. Yay, welcome. We're gonna start today with just a little setting of the field and coming together in some prayerfulness. We're going to have a very short little transmission today to leave space for a longer drop in into the soul field to work in the transformational communion and meditation space. And so without further ado, I think, we get ourselves going on Facebook, Nancy?
I can't do it from my side.
Okay.
I don't have access.
Now that's what I'm getting to. So apologies to whomever is getting this recording and had wanted to join us live on Facebook, because we don't know why, but it's not going. So here we are together. We light our candles.
Yes. Let me just get settled and get out of Facebook for a second. Wow, it's beautiful to see you all here, and thank you. It's beautiful to do this with Lumenaria as well. I'm very honored to be a part of this and for everybody to show up and be here with us. Hi, Sandy. So, for those who brought their candles, Sandy has the sun as her candle. Let's start by lighting up our candles. It's a symbol of initiating the process of gathering in the same room, gathering in communion, gathering in the field, and understanding that the light unites us all, that my match didn't light up, but that doesn't mean there's no light in our lives. There's always light. And as we are joining together as one light, we open the field. We open this moment for us to join in something that is much bigger than our human existence. This connection that goes beyond physical boundaries. And we'll start connecting in this field, in the soul field, all of us here, not as personalities, but as light, as the light beings that we are. And thank you for being here.
Our opening prayer, and I'll be sharing that on the screen. Everyone see the opening prayer? Can you just give me a thumbs up?
Yes.
We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts. Drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. We know that as we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, all light, all grace. We allow our minds to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize that we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Venimos con nuestros corazones llenos de gratitud, reverentes y abiertos a saciar nuestra sed en el pozo profundo de nuestro propio ser eterno. Estamos conscientes de que al sumergirnos en el campo del alma, somos acogidos en los santos brazos de la fuente sagrada de toda luz, amor y gracia infinita. Nos damos permiso de expandir nuestras mentes hacia el reino sagrado, donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. De la misma manera en que nos predicamos a nosotros mismos, así predicamos al prójimo y a nuestra familia humana, reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada. Permitimos que todo lo que se haga aquí hoy tenga una secuela en nuestras vidas como testimonio vivo de la gracia divina para el beneficio de todos. Feel that. I feel that.
I want to take just a second. I don't know what you all notice, but for me, Spanish is not my first or my second language. um, and having grown up Catholic and having heard of a time when the masses were all said in Latin, I used to think as a child, like, what? I don't even understand. Like, how could you be a part of that? And what I realized as I listen to you speak the prayer in Spanish, Nancy, is it's like my cognitive mind is not there and it goes right in. And I don't know if anybody else has that experience, but it just hits me so deeply. Um,
And I can feel that too. I feel the vibration of that because I stored a lot of this in my body in Spanish. So recall it in Spanish, I'm recalling the energy. Regardless if you understand what I'm saying or not, I'm recalling the energy and I feel that vibration intensely. It's beautiful.
is such a testimony to the fact that we are vibrational beings. And we live so much of our life in the space where we think we have to, you know, intellectually grasp something. Yeah, really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
It reminded me of this video of this gentleman who had a glass made from some crystals, and he had a sound that was resonating in the same vibration of as the glass. And when he played the sound, the glass started vibrating too. But when he played a different sound, the glass didn't even vibrate, didn't move, nothing happened. And I think that there is something about resonance and in authenticity and integrity and being in the soul field that even if we were to say nothing, just being in that resonance shifts things for everybody, all of us.
yeah, we spend so many times in the mental field, so much time in the mental field, and sometimes in the emotional field of consciousness. So when we purposefully come into the soul field, we are, as you said, Nancy, like allowing ourselves to vibrate differently with one another. I Today I'm not going to be able to watch on gallery mode. We haven't yet figured out how I can record the video for us and not have everybody in the recording when I look. So if it's okay, I'm just going to take a moment. I want to put it on gallery mode and just see all of your faces live for a moment and just feel our connection, and then shift out of that back to this view. You have your video that you can turn on now, would be a lovely time just to say hello and not to put pressure on you in any way. Just hello, everyone.
What's up? Come in.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So today we're talking about connection and the energy of not being alone, and really understanding that at the level of soul, we really are truly never alone. And yet, if we don't cultivate a relationship at that level with ourselves, with source, with our community, then in times when we have stress, we will have the experience of aloneness as we reach for what we practice reaching for. We reach for what is proximal, like what's in our memory. And so if we're not reaching into the soul field regularly, then in times of stress, in times of need, when we need most to feel accompaniment, that kind of accompaniment that brings soothing and nurturing and a deep release, we will be lacking. We will feel the aloneness.
Yeah. I know many times I've been craving company and just like, okay, 6 p.m., I'm bored, what am I gonna do? And sometimes I have felt alone, even with people, even surrounded by people. And what we want to really talk about today is how not to feel alone. Not that feeling alone is a bad thing, but when it when is accompanied by a feeling of desperation or a feeling of hopelessness, then that doesn't serve us because we're not really experiencing the unity that we have with everybody. And feeling alone means in a human world that we don't have a person. And that is such a basic level of thinking, because like Lumenaria said, this is what we approach, this is what we seek. We seek company from people. And that's not understanding the expansion, the power that we have to connect to others, to plants, to the world, to the universe, to God, whatever you believe in. We're not really understanding that power when we're thinking, oh, I don't have a person next to me, I'm alone. It goes so much beyond that. And so today we want to expand a little bit and give you maybe some ideas, some tips to open up your awareness and give you samples of how we can all connect deeper than just with one person at a time or one group at a time.
When we don't take the time in our everyday lives to cultivate a relationship at the level of soul, in the field of soul, with ourselves, with source, and with those other beings, we begin to feel like we are the doer, like we are the figurer. We have to fix, we have to create, we have to balance. We start to feel like it's, sort of, in some ways, I'll put it in quotes, up to us. And while we are an essential part of our co-creative environment, particularly when we enter into the field of soul, we are the receptor, we are the receiver. We are the tuner, the one that tunes to the frequencies that nourish and that bring fulfillment and that guide. Right? We, in that space, we enter into a co-creative world where, with that field, we can, out of any challenge or hardship, co-create beauty. That's not to say always things are easy, but in the challenge of life, when we plug into soul, we have an opportunity to be the receiver and the tuner that helps to create the divine possibility.
Yeah. I know there are times for me that I believe I have to do everything alone. And even though I don't want to, I'm like, I'll do this alone because I do it better or whatever. I want to control things. And when I honestly let go of that need for control and I let go of the need to do it alone and I open up to how guidance is ruling my life, things just happen so much more smoothly that I could ever plan. And help comes in ways that I'm just like shocked by the timing of it and the way that it comes so subtly without me even asking. Things just align perfectly. And and that requires that I step up into a level of understanding that help doesn't have to be necessarily only physical help. It can be just an orchestration, a divine orchestration of momentum when I am clear about where I'm heading, and I let go of the reins, you know. And that requires that I have that relationship, that I nourish that relationship, that I really practice that, you know. It's hard in this human existence. It's hard to let go and surrender.
And so, how do we practice that? How do we build that sacred relationship? Well, all of you are here because you want to do that. You wouldn't be drawn to this or anything like this if that wasn't the case. But, we can do it in subtle ways also in the midst of everyday life. So, we begin the soul field by lighting a candle, and there's something simple but actually attuning about that, right? So the subtle ways that we create sacred space, that we call in the connection to soul. It might be the music that we play when we're in the shower that is like activating for our spirit in some way, like purposeful and intentional. It might be, the way that we take the time to get out the Palo Santo or the smudge and just like put some containment or some clearing in our space, right? There are little ways and big ways that we cue ourselves to the soul, that we cue ourselves to the reality that we are not alone, that we are, if we choose, able to be in constant communion with the great wisdom that runs through us and the source of all of that wisdom. So there's like, I don't know, we can talk about how do you devote time, right? Maybe it's about making 5 minutes a day where you just intend. Maybe it's about saying once a week, I'm going to do a deep dive meditation, whether that's something that comes from the soul field work, something that comes from other places where you have found nourishment. It could be what you read. Nancy, it's you. Mhm.
It's interesting because when we were preparing for this talk, I was telling Lumenaria like, oh, you guys should all listen to the podcast that we recorded, because in the podcast, I was interviewing Lumenaria, or we were having a conversation, but in the podcast we talked about activating and creating space for your spirituality. And it is like what Luminar is saying, maybe you have a little altar, or maybe you touch the walls and you wake up the walls and you're like, hey, wake up, do your job, protect me, or whatever. But everything is, it's an intention, and we need to have that space in our lives. We need to create that space. And it doesn't have to be, wow, I need to book 10 hours to do this. It could be as simple as you are drinking your water, you're blessing it, you know? The most important thing is to stay connected, and to stay connected maybe in gratitude, or like, Sandy goes to the beach and she connects there with God and spirit, and that's her spiritual connection to something bigger than us. So I think we all maybe, what I would love to actually know, maybe you guys can put it in the chat, or if someone wants to say it out loud, but put in the chat, what are some techniques or things that you do to stay connected to your spirituality, to feel not so alone? Like, put in the chat what some ideas, like maybe you pray, or you sing, or you go for a walk in gratitude, or you wake up just breathing the air. Yeah. So, for example, Adana said she writes music, and music keeps her connected. I know that for me, whenever I burn sage, that makes me feel connected. That makes me feel like I am sealing my space. Michelle said I walk the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, walking too, for sure, for me.
And with the critters, right? Like that, this is about, this isn't even, I love these two things because they're not like, somebody wouldn't go like, oh, writing music is a spiritual encounter, or walking the dogs is a spiritual encounter. And that's the point, that like every single thing we do, depending on our orientation, is a spiritual encounter. And Raven says being present with my emotions, singing in the morning. Like the more we weave into the every aspect of our life, the connection there.
Yes.
And so we want to give a little, we're going to dive into meditation into a formal space where we really go. But before we do, we want to give a little tool for attuning. And this is a tool that I learned from a teacher that I'm taking some Hawaiian chanting from. And I love this so much because it's so accessible, so simple, and it's very potent in terms of how it moves my energy. And I'm going to invite everyone to do this together. I'll describe it first. It's simple. It's so simple. It's the vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. Those are our vowel sounds. And it's with a singular breath chanting through those vowel sounds. And we will do it for 3 breaths. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to just do 1 breath. Maybe I'll do 2 breaths so you can get the hang of it. And what happens is that the sounds open certain places in the body. So the ah sound, ah opens the crown, a opens this way,
The ear.
E centers, O starts to drop, and U really drops the energy. So it's this beautiful energetic flow in the body. And it goes, and if you have, I am, disclaimer, I am not any kind of trained sound maker. I just make sound for soul. If you are trained and you have like a really amazing vibrato, it's really great to do this with a vibrato. If you don't, you can put light pressure, like literally kind of go, and make a vibrato for yourself. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we'll all do this together, and then we'll drop into meditation. So it goes like this. What I will say, you can feel it. I feel everyone feeling it. What I will say is that when you do the vibrato, it does with your hand, it does change a little bit the flow at the throat chakra. So you can play with it, maybe do it for one and not the other, and see how your body likes it. Okay. So let's synchronize first our breath. We'll do a couple breaths together. Let's do an in breath and an out breath and an in breath and an out breath. And on this next in breath, let's do the A, E, I, O, U.
Wow. 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 I felt that. It's
Thumbs
like
up if you feel transformed.
it's like it was coming through the top and it was just expanding out through my ears, through my field, and then went back in my heart, and then it dropped into my stomach and then went down to the earth and woof, expanded to the rest of the earth. So cool.
People feel transformed by that. Different. Yep. Perhaps more clear mentally. Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's let the awareness drop inward. Nancy and I are going to work with the two of you and co-create a meditational space through some guidance and some silence. I want to invite you to use our guidance only as an invitation. If something else is happening for you that's deeply nourishing, please stay with that. We'll drop in together. And so, feeling the breath and the vibration in the body, you should feel a ease landing in the body after that grounding practice.
Notice where your center is, your womb, your solar plexus, your forehead. Just notice where it is and anchor your awareness there.
Nancy, can you turn off the original sound for musicians on your screen?
Better?
And so, as you're coming into this space of center, feeling that gravitational pull on the body. This is the Earth Mother embracing you, literally pulling you to her. And feel your cells and molecules recognizing that and surrendering into that embrace. Feeling the holding and the vibrational exchange and harmonization that happens as you let yourself be hugged by Mama Earth.
Feel the nourishing traveling up your spine as you're being fed and nurtured and loved. Be filled by this energy, every cell of your body is absorbing this nurturance.
Inviting the mind to rest into the heart and the heart to rest into the low belly and the low belly to rest into the earth. Letting go of efforting. And just feeling the sensations in the body that happen as you do this.
And as your body settles into this energy, Notice your heart opening to receive the light, to receive connection. To expand beyond this physical realm, beyond this suit. Notice how your light begins to come out of your heart, come out of your chest, and just expand and touch everything and everyone around you. Like a dance, like making music together. You are in the soul field and you are loved and protected and safe. And it's fun to play.
You may start to feel tingling waking up in the body. Maybe a desire for subtle movement in relationship to that. Giving yourself permission to be in this sacred communal field in the way that is most aligned for you. And feeling your unique pathway to the sacred, to God, Goddess, Source, Light, Love, Great Spirit. Feeling that unique pathway being illuminated even more through these connections that you've made. And feel yourself deeply opening to that grace. Expressing gratitude for that grace in whatever way. Perhaps it's an inner bow or a smile. Feeling the sparkle of that. Becoming sponge-like so that your being can absorb more and more of the nourishment of all these connections you're making.
There's no need to define it or explain it or rationalize it. Just allow it. Allow it to manifest the way that it wants to manifest for you specifically. And know that that will touch all of us.
If it feels right for you, bring your awareness to the base of the skull, bringing breath and presence there. And with intentionality, begin to let this part of the head soften and open. The well of dreams energy center waking up, releasing any tensions there. Perhaps moving the head and neck to loosen that if you're feeling that support would be helpful. Using intentional out breath to release what no longer serves and feeds you. An intentional in breath to draw grace and light into this place at the back of the head. Letting the jaw soften and open. Letting there be sound if there's sound. Bringing breath and awareness to the temples if it's right for you. Feeling an expansion there, letting breath open the energy at the temples. And as that happens, the whole skull starts to soften and open. There's more and more space for grace and nourishment.
We notice everyone's connection, the connection to each one of us. Open yourself up to feel that even though we're meeting through a computer, we are connected. We're not alone. We are in this field. All of us. Creating magic. Wow, I'm humble. I feel the well of dreams connecting all of us. Wow.
With these connections online, let's bring our awareness now, if it feels good for you, to the sacrum, the very low back, into the tailbone. And similarly, just bringing presence and breath there. Allowing an opening. Feeling the relationship between that part of the body and the well of dreams. The sacral center and tailbone and well of dreams sort of opening into a communication. The top and bottom of the spine. And feel how breath is different with these. Centers awakened and communing. Feel how the root chakra and the crown chakra, they tend to just spontaneously open, and you can feel the central channel very illumined within your body.
And even if you're listening to this in a replay, know that this connection is still happening and still real right now, this moment.
The soul field is an interdimensional field. It's not bound by time and space in the same way. And we're having the lived experience of that together right now. Open to that as much as you can. Let yourself be nourished here. We'll sit for just a minute or two more in the deep receptivity in the silence together. And then we'll stay in the soul field, but we'll invite in a new layer. In this potent interconnected field, we can bring our prayers. We can bring them ideally in the form of affirmation, affirmative prayers. co-creative prayers. And if that feels a little challenging, you just want to speak or type what your heart is desiring, that's beautiful as well. I'm going to begin with my prayer. Some of you may have seen one of our Soul Field members, Aparna's prayer request in the Facebook page. And our beloved brother Kieran is recovering from brain surgery that happened 2 days ago. And his health is returning vibrantly. And we see him breathing with ease. We see his body tending any infections or disharmonies with great ease. We see all the grace of our prayers and our light surrounding and uplifting him, supporting his body and transmuting anything that is not him into the vibrant alignment of this next phase of his incarnation. We see Aparna feeling the support of this, feeling comforted and eased, and having strength to support her beloved Kieran.
And so it is.
And so it is. And just inviting anyone that wants to unmute to speak their desire or their co-creative prayer for self, for others, for the larger world. Or if you'd like, you can type it in the chat thread and Nancy or I will speak the prayer into the co-creative field that we're in together. We'll speak it into the soul field. Give a moment for this. And if you don't feel like you can speak or type, just let your prayer enter into the field through your heart. We are all affirming the prayers on one another's hearts, the desires of one another's souls.
My prayer is, my affirmative prayer is, I am constantly reminded that I am not alone. I am constantly reminded of how supported I am in every step of the way. And I see people around me being reminded and walking in gratitude with a smile on their faces, knowing that we are just so loved. I see the world shifting into this beautiful communion of peace, gratitude, doing good for each other. And so it is.
And so it is. And so with these prayers that we've offered into the field, with our biospiritual systems nurtured and remembered, we make a transition in the way and time that's right, allowing eyes to open. If it feels good, turning back on cameras. The prayer that we are held in the arms of grace. Scotty, thank you. As you're coming back, Nancy and I will make a few little announcements. We'll speak our closing prayer together.
So we have our next soul feel will be Christmas Eve. Really excited about that. And for those
morning, Christmas Eve in the morning.
morning, yes.
Time 11 a.m. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Same time as today, I think. Yes. And if you haven't, please join the Facebook group. Usually the lives work. And so if you're not able to access it through Zoom, we could do it also on Facebook. And if you're not on our mailing list, you can go to the soulfeelexperience@gmail.com and I'll put it on the chat and add your name to the mailing list as well. We'll post a link to the Facebook group and the email. And also we might send you a feedback form to always try to improve the sessions that we have, the gatherings that we have together. And we're planning a solstice celebration for the solstice. And we'll send you more information. We'll email more information about that as the time gets closer. Anything else?
The 21st. We set the time, and I'm spacing on it right now. I think it's 5 to 8 or 5:30 or 5:30 to 8, something like that. But right in there, we'll let you know soon about that. And in the follow-up email, we'll put the date of that. And the other thing that Nancy and I just want to kind of gently speak to, so we can start to be aware that this is happening. This is a donation-based offering. This is completely free if that's what serves you. And also, if you feel called to make love offerings, there was a link in the email. You can go there and do that. What we're planning to do with the love offerings ultimately, as the soul field grows, is that the soul field will be tithing back to the community a percentage of that money each week. And so we'll be asking, sometime in the new year, for people to just let us know if there is financial need or even financial desire that is present. And then we will we'll talk about the process later, and then we will gift back whatever donations come in that session will be gifted back to someone or someone's in the community. So this is a way for us to really uphold one another and our field that we're generating together.
Yeah. Maybe next year we'll have a wishing tree and we could fill it up or something, but we're starting. We're getting there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to we just have a couple minutes. Does anybody want to just has a burning desire? Maybe that's how I want to phase it, since our time is short. Does anybody have a burning desire to speak to something that happened for them in the soul field as we were communing together? You can either put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and say, oh my gosh, this was so incredible because of whatever, or oh, that was challenging because of whatever. If you have a little burning desire, please take
a prayer that you want to.
Yeah, now that you're kind of coming back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not at the same time, everybody.
No, it's fine. There's no requirement. Yeah, we're just playing. Okay, so let's make our closing prayer.
Andy, did you want to say something? Go ahead. You're still muted.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for having this space. Like, really, I don't even thank you. And my cell phone reception went from 5 bars to 0 when we were starting the prayer. And I had to run to the nearest place where I could get reception and reset my phone. So I'll take that as just a powerful energy. And throughout the prayer, it was really interesting because I've been struggling with I've been doing some heavy duty parasiting and cleansing, and it's been really, really tough. Today's the first day that I felt good, but during the prayer meditation, I kept hearing, I'm not my body and I'm not my mind, I'm spirit. I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, I'm spirit. So it was really, and then I suddenly, I mean, I didn't make it to the whole prayer of the IOU, but I started utilizing it just immediately, like within the prayer. So within the meditation. So it's powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, being a part of this.
My body, I am not my mind, I am spirit. That's oh yes, thank you for speaking that.
Beautiful.
So with that, shall we speak our closing prayer together? I will put it on the screen.
And Michelle said, I just diagnosed what made me have nausea last week. Too much pomegranate. I love pomegranate. Oh, that's good to know. Don't eat so much. Okay. Thank you.
And so I'm going to hold my candle because I just feel like that.
That's a good idea. Let's hold the candle, and then at the end of the prayer, we can blow out the candle and close the circle.
We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting, therefore, our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels and guides and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Damos profundas gracias por esta experiencia milagrosa de comunión con nuestro ser sagrado, aquí en el Soul Field, en el campo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos la elevación de esta comunión y de la luz de nuestra alma bendita en cada uno de nosotros. Al culminar formalmente esta reunión, cada uno de nosotros, de manera particular e individual, permaneceremos en el Soul Field, en el campo del alma, apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, damos gracias a cada uno de nosotros y a nuestros ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que al predicar a nosotros mismos, nos elevamos el uno al otro y alentamos la magia que acabamos de co-crear para que se expanda a todas nuestras relaciones para el beneficio de todos. Amén. Let's blow our candle out.
I'm going to put the view back on gallery. If you want to turn your video on, you can. Just thank you, everyone, for your presence here. I felt all of you so deeply. I feel so nourished. I hope you are leaving feeling so nourished.
Yeah. And we'll close this session for now. So your energy, as you are moving into the world, you are safe and protected. You are shielded and embraced. Thank you for opening up your hearts. Thank you for opening up your energies while being in the field. Thank you.
Feel free to unmute if